The object of Taxi Chronicles is to allow real riders with real stories share their experience and enhance your life. So sit back and enjoy the journey. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have an Australian in the house. You wouldn't believe it. She's a lovely lady, very nice, outgoing. But her family's originally from Hull, and she's born and bred in Australia. But if you hear the accent, you think she's a true northerner. But anyway, she's a designer, she's a fashion maker, she works from home, she has her own business. So without further ado, Gabby, nice to have you here.
Hello, nice to be here.
So fashion design, how did you get into it? What motivates you?
Yeah, I think I always wanted to make things and design things. I always loved art growing up, but then it always seems like that's a really difficult thing to do as a job, I guess. So I actually studied psychology and went to uni to study psychology, and then realised that there's no way I'd be able to do that as a full-time job because I wanted to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as we were just talking before we started recording, I lived in London for a while and did something entirely different, just managing office spaces here. And I think doing that and I enjoyed the job, liked who I worked with, but I realised it wasn't what I wanted to do long term, and that was kind of the push to be like, you've got to bet on yourself and try and make it work, try creating your own things.
Was your mum or father into anything creative in life?
My mum is very, very creative. She's always been sewing things and making things for us around the house. Taught me how to make like clothes for my dolls, my Barbies growing up, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's good. So did you go to design college?
No, I didn't. So I went to uni and studied psychology, so no design education there. But while I was at uni, I really kind of fell in love with the internet and a blogging space and sharing outfits and things online and the things I was making for myself, and got to know a few people online who were like doing a similar thing and also creating their own businesses, selling their own things. And so while I was at uni, I set up my first online shop then. I started making things and selling things and making jewellery, all that good stuff.
Okay.
And it kind of scaled from that. I could see that it could potentially work if I put all my effort into it.
So I have to ask, what's the name of the company or the business?
So it's my name, Gabriella Rosie.
Oh, that sounds quite fancy. Gabriella Rosie. Okay, and that, what's the name on social media if people want to find you?
So it'll be at Gabriella Rosie.
Okay, do you want to spell that for us?
Yeah, GABRIELLAROSIE.
Okay. What have you learnt from your time in this design business that you wish you knew when you had started?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably that stubbornness will get you far. Just deciding that I want to figure it out. So even if something doesn't work, I'll find another way to do it. And I kind of don't have to have it all figured out from the beginning, but just the stubborn tenacity to do it eventually will get me there.
What would be your advice to your 16-year-old self?
To stop doubting myself and just do the thing that I always wanted to do. It saved a lot of time.
Okay, that's real good. If you could do it all again, obviously you've done your psychological degree. I trust you passed with a first class.
Yeah, of course.
That's well done, much better than me. What would you do, and would you do anything different, and why?
Yeah, I think I'd probably just not go to uni and just start my business sooner. But at the same time, I'd have a lot less uni debt if I did that. But at the same time, I kind of think everything teaches you different things and shows you. I don't want to be too dismissive of my time at uni, even though it's not necessary. I think, especially with the internet and the ability to teach yourself things now, you don't need formal education as much, especially if you're not going to follow a route that requires it, which design definitely doesn't. But yeah, I'm always hesitant to say I'd change things, because I think every part, I like to think that every part kind of adds together, makes the span of your life, teaches
Butterfly
you different
effect.
things. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. What does the future hold for you?
No idea.
Where do you get your inspirations from?
It's corny and cringy, and cliche, but like just from life, just from seeing things other people have created, be inspired to like level up from what I've seen out there in the world and how I want to put my own perspective on it, I guess.
So I see hundreds of suitcases every month, and yours is very creative. Is that a design or something you created yourself?
No, that's not. I'd love to somehow design suitcases one day. That'd be pretty sick.
Okay, that's good. If you could work with any designer, who would it be and why?
Kanye West or Rihanna.
Okay. I heard of Kanye West. I don't know anything about Rihanna. Do you want to explain a bit about
Rihanna?
Oh, Rihanna.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come
so
on.
wait a minute. So wait, they both have fashion lines.
They do, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily have to work on them with fashion, but just something in the creative space.
Alright, so you think they're geniuses?
I do. I love Kanye West.
Well, they come from being very poor to being billionaires,
Yeah.
so they're doing something right.
They figured it out. They figured something out.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, that's good. When you come in to do your design, explain the process of how you do something. You find the source of materials. How does it work?
I think my general theory of like creating anything is, I say it all the time, is to create what you wish existed. So I'm like, what do I want to wear? What thing do I want to use in my life that I wish I had? If it's just something that exists already and I want to see it in a different way, if it has a different functionality to it, if it projects a different message or a different image, how can I make that thing instead of going online and looking and seeing if someone else has already made it? I can just decide to make that thing myself, or figure out how to make a version of it at least.
So you make it your way.
Yeah.
Is that quite common that you think of an idea and then you find that someone else has done it already?
Yeah, most of the time. But there's always I feel like, you could ask everyone to design a shoe and everyone's going to design a slightly different shoe, and then there's always going to be new ones coming out every season. Like, there's no limit to what new creative possibilities you can come up with, and there's no scarcity for what people want to see in the world as well. Yeah.
I hear you. I've asked you about what the future holds for you, but you didn't answer. What would you like your business to grow to? And what's the message that you're sending out to people because you're giving people an image. You're giving them your image. You're giving them a bit of Gabriella rosie.
I think as far as business goals, this has definitely been something that, I'm constantly thinking about it, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately, because it had been my goal to hire more team members, get a bigger space, kind of grow the operation that side. But then I started to see, as you're doing that, obviously you're going to I'm responsible for those people's paycheck and stuff as well, which can be a really beautiful thing if that's what you want. But I think the core reason why I've always been drawn to the idea of running a business is more so because of the freedom it gives me, so the lifestyle freedom. And obviously having employees and having large spaces and big operations restricts you from having as much freedom. So I've been trying to figure out how I can keep the operational side of the business quite simple, or if it's outsourcing more things and scaling that way. But also, like playing with the idea of like, what do I actually want my life to look like, and how can I have the business support that vision instead of let's just build the bigger business as possible, because then that's only going to turn into a job, and that's what I didn't want.
You're in your mid to late 20s, yeah?
I'm 31, yeah.
Okay. No, so I'm just thinking, because I know when I was in construction, I looked at the people who were where I'm going to be in 5 years or 10 years, and that's how I made my decision in that respect. So you don't employ anybody at present?
I do. My mum works for me.
Okay, well, yeah. Especially at least she's living her dream as well.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to.
How's that relationship work? Does mum listen to you?
She does, yeah. She's sassy.
Yeah, you never had to say, listen, it's my company, you do it or you're fired.
Yeah.
Okay. Dad's sitting in the corner.
Definitely still have to be polite to her.
Yeah. I hear. That's good. Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you've got it all planned. You've got it all sussed out.
It'll figure out. Always figures out.
And most of all, we can wish you well on your trip. On your journey of life, I should say it like that. Your journey of life in the design business. One last question. What's the most common pieces of clothing that you sell? And is it to males or females?
Mostly women. For clothing, I do a sweatshirt with the word alchemist across the front of it, and also a range with the word creatrix. And they're basically two words that I feel kind of embody. I think you asked this question actually, I didn't answer it, but like they kind of embody the message of what I want to share with people of, you can create your own life. Like creativity goes way beyond just doing a painting. It can be every aspect of your day, every aspect of what you're building in your life is something that you're creating as well. You're alchemizing your own life. So yeah, that's probably the most common, most popular piece of clothing. But then I'm probably most known for doing affirmation cards, so like card decks. Yeah,
so
do you know affirmation cards?
I know what affirmations is, so they're just cards that you pick up and it says you are good.
Yeah.
You will make it.
like that. So, a little bit more sassy than that, but yeah, okay. That's kind of the vibe.
Okay, but that's not actually fashion, is it? That's just something.
It's not, yeah.
Okay, so there's something going on. All right, that's good. Remind people where they can find you.
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram, as everyone is. So at Gabriella Rosie.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you. It's been a good chat.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.